Welcome back to the At Home with Roby show. I'm Ashley Davis along with Trent Haston. We're your hosts. We're glad you're spending your Sunday morning with us. Whether you're in the car or on the couch, you're always at home with Roby. Visit andrewroby.com today, or you can click on the At Home with Roby tab at WBT.com. So Trent, before the break, we had Sandy Hurd on with us. She's the lead designer, the land designer for the land planner. I'm sorry, Sandy. I had it right earlier. I don't know what happened here, but she's the land planner for McLean. We're now joined by Harry Schrader. He is the team architect out there. Trent, we're one of the preferred builders in this neighborhood, McLean. It's out on Lake Wylie. You've worked a lot with Harry over the years. I know you were excited when he got involved with this project.
Oh yeah, Harry. I mean, hey, I talked about the 6 builders. I mean, how we're allies, how we're trying to do it right. Talked about the land emulates what I love about the Carolinas and the river that I was born and raised on, and the lake. And Harry brings that element from an architecture side. I mean, we are a custom builder. I grew up, all I ever thought, live, breathe, and eat was custom building. And, Harry is the epitome of that. And, if you never met Harry, his demeanor and what he's about, I mean, I would think he's more of the vision architect, is probably a better way to say it than team architect. But welcome, Harry, good buddy of mine. We play a little, he whips me in golf all the time.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate being here.
So talk a little bit about Harry. Sandy said earlier, when she looks at land, she wanted this project to lay lightly on the land, and that fits nicely in with what you're looking at for how you're going to really oversee the architecture for what you're going to do at McLean.
Right. I think it all starts with Sandy, and I'm really thankful to her for seeing me as a good fit for the development. My whole career has been about designing custom architecture, and the first line of any proposal I ever send out to a client is that the house is inspired by the land. And that's extremely important when you're talking about a single commission or a single custom home. But the greatest aspiration of an architect like me or a firm like ours is when someone says, we want to entrust a vision that is 700 acres. And it's a daunting task, but one that I'm thankful to have the opportunity to work on. When you have like-minded people committed to a vision of being great stewards to a piece of property, I think that is easy to be motivated as an architect.
Yeah. No, and I mean, just talk about, I mean, I throw out the word Cape Cod, I throw out that region, and it's known for the land and how beautiful it is and how the homes fit into the land and how natural they are.
Right.
I mean, I know you've talked about that. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but talk a little bit about what you're thinking with that.
Yeah, I think you're hitting on that very well. And if you were a builder who was not responsive to that philosophy, then we'd have a big problem on our hands, right? Because we need to have several builders committed to a singular goal here. And that doesn't mean that every house is supposed to look the same or that there isn't a great deal of creativity ahead for all of us. Any property that's going to take years to develop and to build out will require flexibility and will require a sentiment for making decisions that meet the market and that make sense to everyone involved. But if I back up a second and address your question about the style of architecture, I'm an architect who has been fortunate to work on many of the resort communities of Charlotte and even the region, whether it's the other lakes or the mountains or the beach. I'm a guy who believes in the context of what's built in the particular area. And so as I've spent my career in Charlotte seeing these other lakes develop, some successfully and some not, I've spent my time working on individual commissions where my primary focus was on designing homes that I felt belonged on the shoreline that they were being built. And so when you look at the blank canvas of McLean and you look at the responsibility that Sandy and Steven are trying to empower me with to think through design decisions, whether it's the amenity buildings, whether it's the custom homes, whether it's the review process associated with the off-water projects, the goal is to commit to design ideals that are going to leave the legacy of something that's been sensitively designed. And that all sounds great. in words, but we have years ahead of us to execute that in a great manner. And that's something I'm going to take really seriously. And I know I probably got off a little bit on a tangent, but to address the issue of appropriate design, one of the things that I feel has been lacking in much of our lake community, and if you're ultimately given this last great opportunity on the lake to do something right, I think we need to do a good job of regulating architecture that is appropriate to the shore, that is casual in its nature. And so I have sort of guided this principled approach to architecture that is decidedly American vernacular, that is influenced by coastal or shoreline architecture, architecture that is as beautiful and appropriate facing the water as it is facing the streetscape. And I know that's a big topic, right?
Yeah.
But it's something that I believe will put us in a position to fast forward and have something of real design significance at the end of this project.
I mean, I've said it before on this show, and I always say it to my clients and to people in our industry that I like to work with. I like quality homes that when you look at them, you don't know why you like it so much, but it just pops in your mind. It gives you chills. And I mean, that's what we're talking about with this community. And everybody says, well, what do you mean? I mean, it's just using the right products, using high quality products, using earthly products and basically what you say, matching the land that's there.
Right.
And I feel I'm so excited. I got chills just saying that.
You know, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the At Home with Roby show. We have Harry Schrader, Sandy Hurd. They're from the McLean community. It's over in Belmont on Lake Wylie. You can go to discovermclean.com and find out more. Sandy, before we started the show this morning, you told a story. You said you get chills when you see the house. You told a little story about how you described this piece of property to Harry when you brought him on board.
Well, I think I used those words or something akin to those words. Harry, if you come here, you'll see, you'll get it. You'll be as much of an enthusiast about this opportunity as I have been for almost 10 years. Okay.
Well, I'll say, I think a big market for this property. I mean, it's 25 minutes from uptown Charlotte. I mean, it took me 25 minutes to drive from there to my office on West Moorhead the other day in the afternoon. So I think it's a great first home property for families, and we want to raise your kid on the water and around nature, around the botanical gardens. But man, I think the hidden gem, I think we're going to see a lot of people that live in Charlotte that want to have this 25 minutes away as a lake house. And I mean, I really think that is where Roby, I'm coming in with the responsibility. That's why we're doing a show on it. We got to educate the type of listener that listens to WBT and let them know, hey, get out there and take a look at this place and see this gem that's 25 minutes from where you reside every day.
Well, you said something earlier, Trent, about this post-recession philosophy, and I hope it's true because I have lived on Lake Norman for 15 years now, let's say. And part of the curse of being an architect is that you spend a lot of time looking at things that you didn't necessarily design.
Builder curse too.
Yeah, right. And so you try and learn from mistakes that are made. You try and develop an appreciation for an asset that this property can be, and knowing that you only have one shot to get it right. That's a big fundamental goal for me, and I think for this entire team, which is why we were so careful to select this group of builders who could attack the market in a really positive and committed way to do great work.
Well, it's the same philosophy. I mean, I got some buddies I'm in a business group with, and we like the term long-term greed. I mean, you're not in here for a quick dollar, get in and get out. You're building something that, man, that's going to have a legacy. Right. And if you do it right, the Lord will take care of us. We'll be fine. So I think that's my personal philosophy. That's my business philosophy. And that's definitely carried over into this community with you two folks on the project. And Stephen as the leader of the project.
Stephen, yeah, and when Stephen and I were discussing potential architects to be on our team, I think I really wanted Harry to be involved because I think his work is timeless, And I think that that's an important metric for this community. It needs
Absolutely.
to be timeless.
Sandy, can you hang on with us through the break? You'll stay with Harry. Hold
Absolutely.
that thought. I want you to talk more about why Harry's involved. We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the McLean neighborhood. You're listening to the At Home with Roby show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.